Hello everyone, this is Neelam Joshi and today we will discuss about object-oriented paradigm which is used in software engineering. So first is what is object-oriented analysis? So student, before discussing about object-oriented analysis, you also have the knowledge of why we need structure programming. Basically, the software making procedure is very complex and it is not enough to put together a sequence of a statement and a set of modules. So that the overall structure of the software has to be taken into the account before the actual programming begins. So for this purpose, the program structure intended to use like be easy to comprehend, be easy to implement and be able to adapt a wide variety of situation. That means by using these type of standards, various software development approaches have been considered. For modular designing, we use top-down approach, bottom-up approach, and also structure programming approach. Okay. So here I have to mention that structure programming became the first choice of the programmer and but when it increasing complexity of the program, then the structured approach failed. Okay, so in that type of scenario we need object oriented approach which just use to try to eliminate the pitfalls of conventional programming. We use encapsulation so that the merit of structure programming features with new concept. Okay, we can say that the object oriented analysis is centralized around data which is accessed by the basic entity of object oriented approach. That is means the basic entity here is denoted as a object. Okay, basically the object technologies is just use the concept of reusability, means we reuse the components so that the faster software development and higher quality programs are achievable. Okay, and as well as object oriented software is very easier to maintain and its structure is very inherently decoupled, so that the object oriented systems are easier to adapt and also it is very easier to scale. Scaling means what? The largest system can be created by assembling reusing subsystems. Okay, so in this manner basically the object oriented programming approach work. Okay, now moving ahead, as I already discussed in previous slide that the purpose of any type of object oriented analysis activity which is used in software life cycle is basically used to create a model of the system which shows the functional requirement that is independent of implementation constraint. Okay, so here we can say that the main difference between object oriented analysis and other form of analysis is that by the object oriented approach we organize requirement around objects and we can say that which integrate both behaviors like processes and states like data. These are modeled and after we implement it in a real world object, then the system interact with each other. Okay, so in other words we can say that the traditional analysis methodologies two aspects which are processes and data are considered separately. Okay, so for this purpose we use object oriented paradigm which incorporates so many types of feature so that this becomes a very easier task for handling and for this purpose object oriented technologies are enhanced if it is addressed early on and throughout the software engineering process. The means is that here the consideration of object oriented technology must access its impact on the entire software engineering process. Okay, like we can say that the object oriented programming will not provide the best results, so the software engineers and other software managers must consider these items like object oriented requirement analysis, which we called in short form like ORA, and object oriented designing approach, OOD, and object oriented domain analysis, and object oriented databases system, and object oriented computer aided software engineering, that means OOCase. Okay, so these are some terms which is used in specially object oriented paradigm approach in software engineering. Okay, this definition provides us a light overview of object oriented term and its related concepts and fundamental also. Okay, now we can say that it uses the concept of component based development. Means the object oriented process models use the component based development procedure, so that we use the concept of reusability. Okay, we will define this term it uses the evolutionary spiral process model, in which it uses the concept of component based development model, as I already told you, in the form of reusability. Okay, so the component based development model is used in object oriented process model like this. Here you can see that the programming procedural approach of in the form of spiral process model. Here in this figure you can see that it is initially essential to have a communication between the developer and the customer. Okay, means first of all both ends are available, so that the communication becomes easier. And the first thing is that all the requirement or the basic problem classes in the form of classes. Okay, so these requirements are understood by the developers, so that he makes the plan and consider the risk analysis as well. Okay, so means in this first phase the planning procedure is available. Okay, now in second phase we can see that risk analysis. Here in this region a separate box is available, which is firstly the classes are identified here, and the technical work associated with object oriented software engineering follows the iterative path. Okay, so here all the risk which is involved in our project are identified in this phase. Okay, now the next one is engineering and construction and release phase. In this phase basically the classes are looked up in a library and before they build. Okay, and when a class cannot be found in the library, then the software engineer applies object oriented analysis or object oriented designing approach. Okay, so that we can create the class and object which is derived from the class, so that the new class is created and put it into the library, so that it may be reused in the future. You can see this thing here in this diagram. Here you can see that the main functionality of engineering approach is started by using identification, like here first of all we identify candidate classes. Okay, now we check it into the library, like here it is represented as lookup classes in library. Okay, if these are available in the library, then we can extract classes. Okay, that means we are using reusability concept here. But if in the case the classes are not available in our library, so we just create a new class here and then put it into the given library, so that it will be usable in next time when we are again using this approach. Then we can just use this new class as a reusable component. Okay, now we construct an iteration of a system, means this is repeated till the spiral is going on. Okay, so this is the concept which is used by object oriented programming approach. Now moving ahead, here are some object oriented concepts. So basically object oriented techniques are beneficial whenever we talk about it enhance if it is addressed early on and throughout the software engineering process. And those considering object oriented technology must assess its impact on the entire software engineering process. And we can say that for this purpose it uses several type of inbuilt concept so that it become more understandable for a software engineer. Okay, so for this purpose object oriented uses some special types of concepts, and these concepts are very useful and very much essential in the designing of software engineering. Okay, a model here is used to help to visualize and understand the real situations along with its behavior. Okay, and by using this concept the architect use models to demonstrate their conceptual constructs, which may also increase the confidence of their client in terms of designing and the feel of the proposed project. Okay, so these concepts are classes and objects, attributes, methods, messages, abstraction, data encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Okay, so we will discuss these concepts one by one in detail. So first one is classes and object. Basically a class is a blueprint from which you can create the instance like object. Okay, means this is the instance of any class. So here object is the instance of the class which helps programmers to use variable and method from inside the class. Okay, and the class is used to bind data as well as method together as a single unit, and these objects acts like a variable of the class. Means these objects and classes are the building blocks of any object oriented based programming projects. And these objects means object here is used to represent some entities, access methods from its parent class, and has attributes that distinguish them from other objects in the system. Basically these objects can represent anything which with which properties and behavior can be associated, where property describes the current state of the object and behavior shows the way an object acts and reacts, thereby changing its state whenever it needed. Okay, and we can define class as a unit of the data abstraction in a object oriented programming. Basically it is just like a template for any number of objects to be derived. Okay, it can be thought means we can say that class is used as a data type, and object is thought like a variable of that data type. Okay, so all the objects with the same properties and behavior are instances of one class. That means we have to remember that the instances must be common for creation of any class. Okay, for classes and object, two operations are very much useful in software engineering concept, which one is object oriented analysis and object oriented designing, and we already discussed about these two. Here a class contains all the code that related it to its object, which encapsulate the code. Basically a class contains all the code in the form of description of how the object of the class are structured, and the method that implement the behavior of the object. An instance of the class is the result of the creation of class, whereas an instance variable can be defined as each class declares some variable which is corresponding to the data that will be present in each instance. Okay, and such type of variables are called instance variable, because the next term in the class is the class variable, a variable whose values is shared by all instances of class. So we can say that these are the class variable and these are the instance variable. Okay, such variable are manipulates the value of a class variable, then all the other instances see the same changed value. Okay, now we can take a simple example to understand that how these classes and objects are correlated with each other. So this is the example which is used to represent the classes and object. This is basically the example of a chair, and some means here the class is furniture. Okay, so for this furniture class we use this structure in which chair is a member, means this is the instance, and this chair which is used as a member of a much larger class of object that we call furniture. That means here we can see that the chair, table, desk and table, these are the also classes, and these are the subclasses of class furniture. That means furniture is the superclass here. Okay, now a set of generic attributes can be associated with every object in the class furniture, you can see here, and for example, all the furniture have some cost, some dimensions, weight, locations and color. So these are becomes the attribute for the class furniture. Okay, so in this way we can differentiate between attributes and classes or objects. So these apply whether we are talking about a table or chair, sofa, anything other which we are under the class furniture. Okay, chair is a member of furniture. Like here we will take the example of chair. This is the member of furniture class. So here chair inherit all the attribute defined for the class furniture. So in this way we can differentiate between the superclass and subclasses and instances of the chair, which is again the class. Once these classes have been defined, the attributes can be reused when new instances of the class are created. Okay, now I have to mention here that if furniture having the attributes like, as I already discussed, cost, dimension, weight, location, color, etc., then it must be inherited by the class chair, because this is the object of the class furniture. So these attributes are also defined in the class in this chair attribute. Okay, chair object. Okay, now moving ahead with the representation format of an object. A representation of object means a software object maintains its state in variables and implement its behavior with methods. That means it uses the method for the implementation purpose, and an object is a software bundle of variables and related method. We know that the object oriented approach treats data as a critical element in the development phase and does not allow it to flow freely around the system. Okay, so it ties data more closely to the function that operate on it and protects it from unintentional modification by other functions. Okay, so this paradigm allows us to decompose a problem into a number of entities, which is called objects, and these build data and functions. So the data of object can only be accessed by the method which are associated with the objects, and one subjects can access methods of other object. Okay, remember this point, that one subject can access methods of other object. Okay, and object representation is basically consists of data and method to build itself. So to better understand this thing, we will just take this diagram as an example. Like here you can see that this data is represented in the form of different types of method. Like we will compose the data in the form of these, and here we will describe these method in detail like this. Means we can better understand the object representation with the help of this tabular form. Here you can see that employee, which is the part of any company, whose name and basic pay, it is considered as a data. Here employee is denoted as an object, and these two terms, name and basic pay, is defined as a data here. And the next part, which is salary and tax, these are represented as a method. Means these both are represented as a method. So in this way the whole programming of objects, methods, data are incorporated with each other. Okay, so objects are the basic runtime entities and in object oriented programming, and if any type of problem is analyzed, like in terms of objects and nature of communication between these objects, so each object contains data and code to manipulate the data, and objects can interact without having to know the details of each other data or code. Okay, so instance is an object which is created from a class, and these and the attributes is the data value which is held by the object of a class. Okay, now moving ahead, as a representation format of a class. Like a object, we can represent class by using an appropriate format. Like a class is basically describe the content of the object that belongs to it, and it describes an aggregate of data field which is called variables, and define the operation which is called method. So the data representation of class is represented here like this. Please avoid this using software. I think this is some mistake is available. So here you can see that the data abstraction in the form of attribute that describes the class, which are enclosed by a wall of procedural abstraction, or we can say that method. They are capable of manipulating the data in some particular way. Means the only way to reach the attribute is to go through one of the methods that form the wall. Hence, class encapsulate data and methods, okay, that manipulated the data. So here it is denoted in the form of these attributes and operations, and this is represented as a one class here. Okay, now moving ahead with attributes. Basically attribute is a specification that define a property of an object, element or file. It may also refer to or set the specific value for a given instance of such. Means as I already discussed in previous slides, as taking a example of attribute, and for clarity of attribute should more correctly be considered metadata. Means it is defined as a metadata. Basically the attributes are attached to the classes, so it is required that all the classes and objects should have their attributes which are used to define them. And the definition of attributes is just real life entity which are often described with words that indicate stable features. Means most physical objects have features such as shape, weight, color, type of material, etc. And people have features including date of birth, parents, names, eyes color, etc. Means these are defined as attribute for a particular class or for particular object. And a feature may be seen as a binary relation between a class and a certain domain. So an object can be viewed as having various attributes of the object whose value form the state of an object, and the relationship between attributes and encapsulated data is that the former is in terms of concepts that may have some meaning in the problem domain, where later one they essentially represent the abstract information being modeled by the component of the data structure. Okay, and all the remaining concepts of object oriented approach we will discuss in my coming video. So just watch those videos. Thank you so much to all of you.